The stories told on this channel aim to explore the human mind at its darkest. This is a narrative told from the perspective of the perpetrator. There is no glorification here, only the unease of realizing that evil can have a voice, a shape, and an address. It's not that hard to hide who you really are. As long as you smile often, keep your lawn trimmed, and remember the neighbor's dog's name. I figured that out pretty quickly after I moved to Willow Street. The neighborhood was clean, safe, filled with families who believed smart cameras and security systems replaced instincts. And they worked, most of the time. Until someone like me showed up. The truth is, I didn't move there because it was affordable or peaceful. I moved there because of him, Ben Carter. We worked at the same company for almost 2 years. A perfectly average guy, marketing manager, always polite, always helpful to others. But not to me. Not exactly rude, just neutral. And that's what burned the most. The first time I saw him in the neighborhood, he was stepping out of his car with that beautiful wife and their 2 children, all straight out of a family magazine ad. My stomach twisted. He didn't see me. Of course not. He never did. But I saw everything. The way he rested his hand gently on her back. The way he smiled to the neighbors. The way he belonged. And I've never belonged anywhere. My house was 2 blocks away. But I memorized every crack in the sidewalk between us. Every night, I'd take a cup of chamomile tea with honey, just like she drank, and stroll to the corner near the crooked pine tree. The same one that blocks the neighbor's security cam. From there, I could see his upstairs office window. The soft glow, his silhouette at the computer, sometimes on the phone, sometimes laughing. Once, I heard him say my name. Maybe it was work-related, but I didn't sleep for 3 days after that. My mother used to say some people are born with holes inside them. I grew up thinking mine was just bigger than most. I tried to fill it with reading, then food, then silence. None of it worked. Ben was the only sound that made any sense in the noise. I started following his wife, just to understand how someone like him could live with someone so shallow. She went to yoga on Tuesdays, bought organic fruit, spoke to cashiers like they weren't even human. What really got to me was that he seemed happy, or maybe just numb. I installed a fake security camera on my porch, had to look like everyone else. I dressed like the other women in the neighborhood, leggings, ponytail, overpriced gym shirt. I even timed my morning walks to match hers. We talked once, maybe twice. She said I had a kind look in my eyes. I didn't know what to say, because all I could think about was the sound her skull would make hitting the sidewalk. In my bedroom, there's a wooden box with his name carved on the inside. Inside are a used napkin he left at a company meeting, a letter I wrote but never sent, a scale model of his house made from white foam board. Every week, I had something new. Once, I plucked a flower from his garden and let it dry inside a book. Another time, I took photos of his kids at school, printed them in black and white, framed them. They came out beautiful. It took me 2 weeks to prepare the envelope. The idea didn't strike me suddenly. It grew, like everything else inside me, slowly, quietly, until it became inevitable. The plan was simple. I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted to mark something. Etch myself into his memory. A scar that doesn't bleed, but never fades. The first night I watched him lock his front door from my upstairs window. The streetlight cast a warped shadow across the yard. He looked tired, but peaceful, like someone who sleeps with a clean conscience. The next day, I went to the print shop, ordered a black and white photo on matte paper. He was sleeping in it, taken weeks ago, from the open upstairs window through my lens. It looked soft, almost intimate. If you could ignore the part where he had no idea he was being watched. Then came the letter, not written in anger, not in haste. 4 pages. The first, about how he never really saw me. The second, how I saw everything in him. The third, What I knew about his house, his habits, his wife, his children. The fourth, just one line. You weren't chosen. You were noticed. I folded it with care, wrapped it in parchment, placed it in a plain envelope. No name, no return address. Tuesday night, 1:52 a.m. I walked to his house. The neighborhood was still, only crickets and the sound of my own breathing. I placed the envelope inside his mailbox, flaps sticking out like an invitation. Then stood across the street for 3 full minutes. Didn't see him, but I knew he was there. Next morning, I left early, got coffee at the corner cafe. From the window, I could see his house down the block. He came out around 8 a.m., jacket in one hand, phone in the other. His wife followed behind, distracted with something in her arms. When he opened the mailbox, he froze, just for a moment. The envelope was there, sticking out. He looked around, the first sign. Took it carefully, pressed it to his chest. Went back inside. It stayed lit for over an hour. His wife left again, alone. He didn't walk her to the car. She waved. He didn't notice. He was different. That night, their house light stayed on past 2 a.m. And for the first time ever, he looked straight toward my street for over 10 seconds. Not searching, just knowing. The changes came slowly after that. He stopped going out as often. The upstairs windows, once always open, stayed shut. Heavy curtains drawn. A new camera installed on the corner of the roof, pointed directly at where I used to stand. Friday, they went to the store together. But this time, they didn't walk side by side. They clung to each other. Her arm looped through his tight. His hand on her shoulder, not affectionate, but protective. They clung to each other. Her arm looped through his tight. His hand on her shoulder, not affectionate, but protective. Last night, I walked down Willow Street again. No tea, no hoodie. Just the quiet. He was in the living room, lights on, TV off. Sitting, still. Even from the street I could feel it. He wasn't watching anything. He was waiting for something to happen. On my way back, I dropped something in front of his house. A white shirt button. Just like the one he wore at the office last Friday. It's a small thing. But now, he'll wonder how long he's been losing things, and when it started. Sometimes the deepest fear isn't being attacked. It's realizing you were invaded, and never noticed. And that's what helps me sleep. Knowing that even if he never sees me again, he'll never be able to not feel me. Some people remember childhood by the smell of vanilla candles or the sound of their mom humming in the kitchen. I remember mine by the sound of doors closing behind me, by the smell of stale cigarettes and my own breath echoing in a quiet hallway. Her name was Melissa. She was my best friend Ryan's mom. Since I was 8, I'd go to their house on weekends. We'd play Xbox while she cooked spaghetti in the kitchen. She'd offer me orange soda, extra cheese, and sometimes a hug before I left. One afternoon, I was shivering after walking in the rain. She handed me a hoodie, pulled it over my shoulders and said, "You'll get sick like that, baby. Come on, you're like a second son to me." She called me son, just once, but that stuck in my brain like glass under skin. I'm 22 now, literature major, University of Illinois. Dean's List, volunteer tutor, honors program. I speak softly, ask people how their day was. Professors love me. Moms at the local church say I'm refreshing. Girls say I listen. Boys say I'm chill. They're all right. I was built to be trusted. Ryan drifted off after high school. New friends, new city, new girlfriend. Melissa stayed. She works in a mid-rise building in Arlington Heights, right above the local insurance branch. I started passing by her building once or twice a week. She always wore beige or light blue on Fridays. Her lunch breaks were exactly 42 minutes. She ate slowly, always by the window. I never stared, I observed. That's different. My mom was never abusive, just distracted. detached. She'd leave frozen pizza out on the counter and forget it there. Spent hours watching soap operas. Didn't ask if I'd eaten unless there were dishes in the sink. Once, I fell off my bike and cracked my chin open. She drove me to urgent care, waited in the car, and told me, "You'll be fine. Don't make a scene." Melissa always looked at me differently. And that broke something open in me. We ran into each other once at Trader Joe's. She was holding a reusable bag and some almond milk. Hair in a messy bun, hoodie, no makeup. "Gabe, oh my God, it's been years." "Yeah, wow, you look exactly the same. College now, right?" "U of I English Lit. I always knew you'd go far. You were such a bright kid. You used to call me your second son." She laughs awkwardly. "Did I? Well, you were over every weekend," I smiled. But I wanted to scream. "No, you saved me." That night I started writing. Not a threat, not a confession. A memory, a gift. 4 handwritten pages, black ink. No crossed out words. Simple. I wrote about her voice, her laugh, the way she smelled like cocoa butter and vanilla detergent. I told her what she meant, what she still meant, and how sometimes when I can't sleep, I picture her tucking me in again. In the envelope, I added a photo. Me, age 9, sitting on their living room carpet, wearing that gray hoodie she gave me. Ryan in the background, blurry. Melissa in the kitchen, smiling at the stove. I waited until a Tuesday, cloudy, quiet, early March. I walked into her building wearing a Patagonia fleece, jeans, clean sneakers, no hoodie, no backpack. Just a man delivering something personal. I smiled at the receptionist. Said I was from Ryan's college. Sighed I had something to drop off for his mom, a thank you card. She didn't ask questions. People don't question people like me. The elevator ride was silent. I remember the faint smell of printer toner and lemon floor cleaner. Her office door was cracked, empty, perfect. I placed the envelope directly on her desk, centered, unsealed. I wanted her to open it immediately. I looked around the room one last time. Saw the same family picture she used to keep on the hallway table back home. Same smile, same posture. But I was missing from that photo. That was okay, because I'd just become unforgettable. It's been 3 weeks. Ryan posted something vague on his Instagram story. People are strange, even the ones you trust. Melissa didn't like it. She hasn't posted anything herself since Valentine's Day. According to a friend from her office, she's been quieter. Locks her office now, covers the window blinds, takes calls in the stairwell instead of at her desk. She's been late a few times. Started driving to work even though she lives 10 blocks away. Panic attacks, maybe. Or just bad dreams. She never told Ryan about the letter. Never told anyone. But I know she read it. She saw the photo. She recognized the handwriting. Because I know what silence sounds like. I've lived in it. And now it's hers too. Sometimes love doesn't knock. It slips under doors and lingers in old sweaters. Sometimes it doesn't ask to be returned, only remembered. She called me son once. And I know she remembers it now. Every time she turns on a light in an empty room. I used to tell myself it was just admiration. Admiration for her voice, her discipline. The way she walked into that church every Sunday like the world still made sense. I'm a software engineer. My life runs on logic, patterns, and algorithms. But none of that prepared me for her. The first time I realized I'd gone too far was when I memorized her schedule without even trying. When I opened her Instagram first thing in the morning, before brushing my teeth. When I started watching her stories with the volume low, like I was eavesdropping on something sacred. Her name is Emily Carter. I've known her since she was around 10. Her mother used to volunteer with the church support group, just like me. I used to help manage spreadsheets for the choir and run the sound booth. When Emily turned 16, She joined the choir. By 18, she was leading rehearsals. Everyone admired her, but me, I watched her differently. Maybe I should stop here. But I can't. My days are quiet. I work from home, minimal meetings. My coworkers describe me as reserved, discreet. Nice guy, just quiet, they say. I'm 42, never married. I had one serious relationship back in college. It didn't last. She said I didn't know how to show affection. She might have been right. I'm good with code, not people. But Emily, she made me want to be better. And for a while, I convinced myself I was just protecting her. That's how I justified opening her TikTok every night, or replaying the choir rehearsals after everyone had left, just to isolate her voice in the mix. When she looked me in the eyes, and sometimes she did, it felt like something inside me misfired. Mr. Dawson, can you check my mic? It's peaking during the high notes. Emily would smile softly, always calling me Mr. Dawson. Formal, distant, like there was an ocean between us. But every time she asked for help, I made sure to appear efficient, kind, flawless. Of course, Emily, your voice deserves perfect sound. She would laugh politely. Thank you. You're always so thoughtful. Tiny words. But they'd feed me for days. It was ironic, really. The church preached about boundaries, temptation, not coveting what isn't yours. I served on the church council with Pastor Mark, helped plan events, managed the youth ministry website. I was trusted, respected. I helped protect the church. And at the same time, I hid my obsession behind logins, permissions, and camera access. I knew where the blind spots were. When the security system uploaded footage, I never used that access illegally, but just having it made me feel close to her, in control. On the third Friday of September, just after 7 p.m., I parked 2 streets over from the Carter's home. I knew her parents had their weekly marriage group at 7:30. She'd be home alone. From the car, I had a clear view of her bedroom window. The curtains were thin, drifting with the breeze from her fan. She sat at her desk, tapping on her laptop, sometimes smiling at something on her phone. Sometimes she'd hum quietly. It wasn't voyeurism. It was emotional surveillance. At least that's what I wrote in my journal that night. At the end of October, I made a fake profile, a guy her age. Shared interests, music, faith, books. I followed her. She followed back, liked my photos, replied to my polls. One day, she commented, "Emily, you seem really mature for your age." I froze. Typed and deleted responses until I finally sent. Me fake account. Maybe it's because I've been naive before. Now I just watch more carefully. She replied with a heart emoji. Something inside me detonated that day. It was on a warm October night that I placed the white rose on Emily's windowsill. I knew she kept the shutter cracked open because of the heat. I'd noticed at other nights how she'd instinctively push the window ajar, unaware how vulnerable it made her. The note wasn't handwritten. It was printed like something you might find inside a box of chocolates or attached to a generic greeting card. Someone truly sees you. The next morning, she discovered it as she opened the window. I watched her reaction through the church's security feed while I was tweaking the Sunday service audio. She arrived early, more than usual, no makeup, hair hastily tied back. She looked unsettled. During rehearsal, Emily was off, distracted. She kept touching the little silver cross necklace she always wears, only doing that when she's anxious. "Are you okay, Em?" Abby from the soprano section asked. "I just had a weird morning." "Home stuff?" She hesitated. "No, it's something else, like someone's watching me." Pretending I didn't hear that cut deeper than I expected. In the days that followed, Emily vanished from social media. Her Instagram went private. Her TikTok account was deleted. Her stories disappeared. She started slipping out of church through the side doors, avoiding the foyer where I usually stood after services. Pastor Mark mentioned casually, "Emily's been down." Worried, her mom said she had to scare something about security. Learning that cause that didn't spark guilt. It sparked curiosity. Emily began acting like prey. She glanced over her shoulder before getting into her car. She altered her route to campus. I noticed she was taking the longer way, probably to shake off whoever might be following. She switched to baggier clothes, stopped humming in the hallways. But what sealed it was the afternoon she showed up in Pastor Mark's office, clutching my note. I saw it through the cracked door. She was trembling as she explained, "I found this taped to my window, no name. But something's wrong, very wrong." The pastor tried to reassure her. "Maybe it's just a harmless admirer. No, this isn't about love. It's about control. Do you suspect anyone?" She fell silent. "Maybe," she whispered, eyes welling with tears. Emily was smart, smarter than any of us wanted to admit. And it was my overreach that gave me away. She slowly connected the dots. She reviewed our old interactions, the discreet compliments, the over-the-top technical help, the phantom profile that kept popping up in her Instagram views. She blocked that profile. And it vanished. That same week, she installed an app to track suspicious IPs and messages. Something any tech-savvy college student could figure out. That's how she discovered the fake account. The one she'd been messaging for weeks was logging in from the same neighborhood, the same street, a neighborhood she knew well. It clicked when she remembered a small detail from rehearsal. I had once said, almost word for word, the line on the note, "Your voice deserves to be truly heard." That was the last straw. That night, I let myself into her house using the key hidden under the porch planter, the one I'd known about since she was 15. My heart pounded in that methodical rhythm, as if I were executing code. I assumed she was alone. Her parents always went out on Friday nights. But I didn't know Emily was no longer the same girl. She was waiting for me. The room was dark, but she wasn't asleep. She stood in the corner, phone in hand, recording. Her face was a perfect storm of disgust, anger, and fear. Her hands shook, but her stance was unwavering. "I knew it was you. I just needed proof." My throat went dry, yet I kept my voice level. "You don't understand. I only wanted to protect you. You spent your whole life pretending. You watched me grow up. You talked to my parents. You hugged me at services. You're a monster." Her voice cracked on that last word. "I'm not. I'm the only one who ever saw the real you. Before anyone else." From the very beginning, she dropped to her knees. The phone slipped from her trembling fingers, skittering to my feet. The recording light glowed. I didn't move. I simply sat on the edge of her bed and looked at her. And in that moment, I realized she would never feel safe again, not even if I disappeared forever. And that satisfied me, in a twisted, cruel way. I had touched her without ever laying a hand on her. Emily never returned to church. She withdrew from college, moved cities. Her mother told Pastor Mark she had been diagnosed with severe anxiety and agoraphobia. She wouldn't leave the house. Slept with the lights on, started therapy, took medication. Flinched at every knock on the door. Police got involved. But I had been careful. No physical contact, no digital proof. They closed the case. But Emily knows. And late at night, when she hears footsteps on the sidewalk, she still pulls her curtains shut with trembling hands. She sings less, smiles less, and me? I still watch the old choir recordings, her voice filling the sanctuary. The memory of an angel who never flew again. These stories prove one thing: danger doesn't always come from strangers. Like the video, leave a comment if one of them hit you harder than expected. Share it with someone you trust. And subscribe, because there are more truths waiting in the dark.